Hello guys, and I have to confess, my second favorite phrase after explosions on the Russian military objects is definitely detonation that continues on those military objects, as it happens right now in Voronezh region where brave Ukrainian drones targeted a huge military ammunition warehouse. So our geography lessons continue as we discover another location in Voronezh that is often used as a military hub by Russian army. They store lots of their weapons close to the Ukrainian border to back up their troops, their invaders in Ukraine. But we all know prevention is better than cure. That's why Ukrainian drones work hard at night to demilitarize the Russian Federation and create a huge buffer zone protecting most of Ukrainian territories. Our tactics, our strategy is obvious and very understandable. And that's why all the support that you give to various Ukrainian drone campaigns is so important. It works, guys. So let me tell you more about this beautiful Voronezh special military operation and the detonation that continues right now when we speak. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to know more about these challenging times in my country from a civilian perspective, please subscribe and share the videos that you consider important in the world, poisoned with Russian fake news and propaganda. It is super important. So, our geography lessons continue, and honestly, I'm proud at how expanded the territory that Ukrainian armed forces are turning into a buffer zone is. And Voronezh region, located not far away from Ukrainian border, is a war zone already, and all because Putin decided to bring lots of military warehouses, lots of storages there, close to front lines, and at the moment it works as this evil logistics hub. So knowing that Ukrainian drones visited a Russian village in Voronezh region that has a very illustrative name that actually tells a lot. In Russian it sounds as Soldatskoye, which can literally be translated into English as the village of soldiers. So now this village of soldiers is very hot and very loud, so that Russian local authorities could not hide the fact and even needed to evacuate people from the adjacent villages. You never keep that many military warehouses close to the places where people live. What is good? Once again, we prove that we care about civilians, no civilian victims, only lots of very expensive evil tools of matter destroyed. Because we all know, once again, prevention is better than cure. That's why we constantly ask, let Ukraine strike back. If we have this permission, we can neutralize the majority of evil Russian air bases and warehouses that they now use to destroy our country on a daily basis. Every night, Russian drones target Ukrainian houses, and every day, Ukrainian drones burn Russian military objects. So in this village, Soldatskoye, this warehouse is detonating right now, and it feels like I love repeating that phrase. And the detonation is so big that part of the highway that connects Voronezh, Russian city, with Luhansk, Ukrainian city temporarily occupied by them, is blocked. So cars cannot move, and we clearly understand that the majority of those cars who travel this road are actually Russian tanks, Russian armored vehicles, and Russian logistics vehicles that used to bring weapons to the front lines, to Luhansk region and elsewhere. But at the moment it is impossible because of the fireworks we've decided to create on the side of the Russian Federation. Remember to subscribe if you're new to the channel. There are lots of hot news that we discuss here on our way to defeat the Kremlin and to explain to the population of Russia, you better stop. Honestly, more than 15 Russian regions are targeted by Ukrainian drones per month. But those of you who are attentive can easily compare the targets both armies choose Actually, I cannot name a Russian army an army. It's a crowd of orcs. But in our case, detonations definitely demonstrate that the choice is correct, and these are ammunition warehouses, military air bases, and oil refineries, because that's important for the weakening of the Russian economy. And also, what many people forget, it is super important for their military machine, as all of these tanks, aircraft, they consume huge supplies of fuel. I know that many are concerned about the ecological effects of this war. And once again, I have to remind you that Russia is to blame. The moment Russia stops and leaves all Ukrainian territories of 1991 and the process over Putin starts in The Hague, we are ready to rebuild and invite all of you to discover more of the Ukrainian culture, traditions, and of course our people, which is the main treasure of the country. But at this moment, we do have to defend ourselves. And it's crazy how Russia can manipulate the opinions of even some sane people by saying, like, destroying Russian ferries is bad for ecology. Come on, turning Ukrainian territories into scorched earth, blowing up Ukrainian dam, hijacking power plant, isn't that bad? So all of the troubles that we have right now in a very big part of the world are because Russia is a criminal country, are because Putin is a war criminal that constantly provokes the world. Right now, when our partners are still hesitant to allow Ukraine strike back, Iran supplies Russia with more and more ballistic missiles. Can you guess how will Russia use them? Sure, on Ukrainian homes. And will it be good for ecology? No, it's not good for anything. It's not good for human life, and human life has to be in the center of any system of values. That's what we stand here in Ukraine, and that's why any negotiations with Russia are impossible until they are fully punished for all the matters they have committed in my country. And those of you who follow the news can clearly see how much evil they bring to every Ukrainian city, and how much creativity we bring to their military objects when we fire someone's cigarettes and the detonation continues. This detonation led to the evacuation of people from the adjacent villages, blocked the road that connects Voronezh in Russia with temporarily occupied Luhansk. And most importantly, we have destroyed lots of evil tools that tonight, tomorrow could have been used against us. And guys, if we were allowed to use long-range missiles on similar objects, I'm sure you can trust Ukrainians. We are not murderers. Even after years of Russian violence, looting, raping, and murders, we still care about the choice of the targets, and imagine how many lives could have been saved. I hate it when those smart people with good faces start thinking about, some things. You can wait, let's observe. It's not about time. It's not about houses even that can be rebuilt. It is about lives. Lives cannot be brought back. Last night, during a very severe drone attack on Ukraine, a couple of Russian drones crossed the border of Belarus. Belarus is a country almost totally annexed by Russia, and they act as a part of Russia, but still they shot down these drones. They shot them down. Why? Because it's always like that. If an unknown flying military object crosses your border, you shoot it down, and you never think it's an escalation. It is your defense. One of the most important conclusions that I see during this war: defense is not an escalation. Stop saying that if Ukrainians will defend themselves too good, this will lead to an escalation. Oh my God, in the result of this escalation, too many Ukrainians will survive. That's insane. And that's my address to those people who can influence their governments and their decision makers. If foreign, enemy, unknown flying objects cross your borders, you can shoot them down, because this way you protect your territory and your people, and even your crazy, evil enemy understands that. Even Belarus does that. And in times when our partners do not allow us to strike back on Russian military airfields and Russian military warehouses, so we have to do it with our drones. And of course, the efficiency is not that great as it would have been with missiles. Iran supplies Russia with whatever they want, including ballistic missiles. Can you guess how they will use them? Right. That's why there are some things that I personally do not understand, and mostly why the world is still hesitant about this evil. Isn't that clear that after the defeat of the Kremlin, it will be much better to live on this planet? It will be much safer. Believe me, you already have a criminal threatening the world with nuclear weapons. What can be worse? I know you know. I'm just saying that you can share it with those who want to be neutral. You cannot be neutral to a serial killer, and Putin is the one. Join me on Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord, and also check our merch shop for lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine, and you can find them in the description of the video, the links. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, and helping me film, learn, and write more. I'm very grateful and blessed to have you in my life. But most importantly, thank you for your continued strong support of Ukraine. We need that. Slava Ukraini!